So I spammed through some warnings, apparently. It's cool, that's what it is. Oh boy. So text speed, let's jack that up. Auto forward time. Dialogue box size. Music volume, sound volume, English. That's the max. It looks like 1440p is the max. Okay. New game. Wait. Escape. There we go. Okay. So, I don't really know what to think so far. Okay, new game. Do I click? Hey! I see an annoying girl running toward me. Do I have to read all this? Oh god. I see an annoying girl running toward me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. You know, the kind of friend you never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently and I would get tired of waiting up. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me. I overslept again. But I caught you this time. Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. You say that like you were thinking about ignoring me. Look at these faces. That's mean, Demo. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think we're a couple or something. Fine, fine. But you did wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be so mean even if you wanted to. Whatever you say. So Sayori is her name. Okay. We cross the street together and make our way to the school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute. By the way, Demo, have you decided on a club to join yet? Club? I told you already, I'm not really interested in joining any clubs. Just like me in real life. I haven't been looking either. That's not true. You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. Sayori likes to worry a little too much about me when I'm perfectly content just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. Hey! Uh-huh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. I made it through college just fine without any skills. We'll be alright. Your happiness is really important to me, you know. Sure. And I know you're happy now, but I'd die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. You trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you. Alright. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise me you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Yay! So this one's annoying. I don't think we're gonna try and go for this one. Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside of her head. We're in the school, immediately. School day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Sayori wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Hello? Sayori? Sayori must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize that I'm the only one left in the classroom. If you don't know what a NEET is, it's someone not in education, employment, or training. Ah, okay, that's what that stands for. I've heard it from, I think I've seen it in other animes, but I didn't know what it stood for. So thank you, Wally. I'm the only one left in the classroom. I thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom, but I saw you just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. You're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed. You don't need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late to your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know what? Well, you could come to my club, of course. She was just trying to get us to join her club. Sayori. Yeah? There's no way I'm going to your club. That face. Look at that face. Meanie. Sayori is vice president of the literature club. Well, that's obviously where we end up, based on the name of this game. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please. Why do you care so much anyway? Well... I kind of told the club yesterday I'd bring a new member. Wally, she's conning us into this. Who does she think we are? We're just some pushover? Don't listen to her. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. Don't make promises you can't keep. I can't tell if Sayori is really that much of an airhead, or if she's so cunning as to have planned all this out. She definitely planned all this out. Calling it right now, she planned it. I let out a long sigh. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Yes, let's go! Oh, Japanese hallways. They always look the same. Every anime and every game. They look the exact same. And thus today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. I dejectedly follow Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Alrighty. Everyone, the new member's here. I told you, don't call me a new member. I glance around the room. Welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Okay. Purple-haired girl. Sayori always says nice things about you. Seriously, you brought a boy? So this one's different than Sayori. She's got pink hair. Way to kill the atmosphere. Ah, Demo. What a nice surprise. And then we've got a brunette, I think. Welcome to the club. All words escape me in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry. Natsuki. The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is the one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first-year student. She's also the one who made cupcakes, according to Sayori. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Okay. Sayori says that quietly into my ear, then turns back towards the other girls. Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. Ah, we got a bookworm over here. Bookworm, the small one that makes up for it with her attitude, and then the spacey one. That's what I'm starting to pick up here. So we got Sayori, Natsuki, and Yuri. And they all end in I think. Yuri, who appears comparatively more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. Ah, well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you already know Monica, is that right? So her name is different, Monica. Interesting. See, Monica's not a very Japanese-sounding name. I wonder if she's like a transfer student. That's right. It's great to see you again, Demo. Monica smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talked, but we were in the same class last year. Monica was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic. Basically, completely out of my league. so having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... You too, Monica. Come sit down, Demo. We made room for you at the table so you can sit next to me or Monica. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them, so I'll get them. Sorry, I just got a little too excited. Then how about I make some tea as well? Girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. As Sayori mentioned, it's been widened so that there is one space next to Monica and one space next to Sayori. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Oh! Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn in with icing and the little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. So cute! I'm going to be talking so much during this. Wally, my voice is going to be destroyed. Oh my god. Give me just a second. Hold on. Alright, I had to clear my sinuses out. Talking this much messes with my sinuses, at least recently. Okay, I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki. Well, you know, just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs one first, then Monica and I follow. It's delicious. Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. Get a cough drop or 10. No problem, Wally. We should be all right. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. She's watching to see what our reaction is here. Let's see. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? She definitely is. I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Well, why are you thanking me? It's not like I haven't I heard this somewhere before? Made them for you or anything. Eh? I thought you technically did. Sayori said, well, maybe. But not for you. No, you, dummy. Alright. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teacher gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? Sound logic? I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know, I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. So, what made you consider the literature club? I was afraid of this question. I'm very scared of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Sayori. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori seemed really happy here, so that's okay, don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Okay? Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year? Well, you know. To be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. Okay. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monica is a really great leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. And I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. You could put it that way. Not many people are interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new, especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard and convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that we can really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah! We'll do our best. She's the pessimistic one of the group, it seems. You know it. Yeah. She seems very pessimistic. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have worked really hard just to find these three. This is a good exercise for me reading out loud. Oh my god. Maybe that's why they were all so delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though, I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. So, Demo, what kinds of things do you like to read? Comics. Considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga? I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. Looks like she wanted to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking about seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. Okay. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me, and telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. Oh man, this is a paragraph. She seemed so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? This girl is complex. Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. I read a horror book once. Which book do I say? I desperately grasp something I can relate to at the minimal level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. For someone as gentle as you. I guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. Ugh, I hate horror. Oh, why is that? Well, Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind. That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind the last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud. And give it back. Fine. Your cupcakes, your poems, everything you do is just as cute as you are. Sayori sidles up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute. Look at the face. Natsuki, you write your own poems? Well, I guess sometimes. Oh, man. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not very confident writer yet. I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. I guess it's the same for Yuri. Oh, I want her to read everybody's poems. We all sit in silence for a moment. Okay, I have an idea. Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monica. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Oh, here comes the game. The next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way, everybody's even. Yuri doesn't say anything. Yeah, let's do it. Plus, now that we have a new member, I think it will help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Demo? Monica smiles warmly at me once again. Hold on, there's still one problem. What's that? Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining the club, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I'd join this club. Sayori may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and, I lose my train of thought. All four girls stare back at me with dejected eyes. But, I'm sorry, I thought, Demo, you all, I'm defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision at a time like this? That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the club. One by one, the girls' eyes light up. Yes, I'm so happy. Sayori wraps arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey, you really did scare me for a moment. If you really just came for the cupcakes, I would be super pissed. Then that makes it official. Welcome to the Literature Club. Thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share. Monica looks over at me once more. Demo, I'll look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey Demo, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? That's right, Sayori and I never walk home together anymore because she always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! With that, the two of us depart the club room and make our way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the four girls. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monica. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the choice to grow closer to one of these girls. Foreshadowing! Alright, I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. What should we write, Wally? Oh, okay. It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. So we've got Yuri, Sayori, and Natsuki? Why is Monica not an option? Okay. I don't know who we want to go for here. I might just do random words. Oh, this is all the text? Wow. Autosave, nice. Let's save the game. Alright. Do I just do random words? So she's into like depressing shit and horror. She's into cute stuff. And she's just like bubbly, I guess. Definitely pick a girl. Okay. I don't know who to pick. I think this one, Sayori, is annoying. Like, she's looking out for us and everything, and I appreciate that. But she's kind of all over the place. She's, like, just mean. And she's kind of aloof and kind of inside her own head. Let's go with her, I guess. Because I'm not really into these two. So let's go with Sayori, I guess. She's annoying, but I get, like, that's a quality, I guess. So what would she be into? Achievement unlocked. Doki Doki Poetry Slam. Okay. Let's do sing. Oh, she was into that. Okay, so we can judge how well we're doing with one of them by doing that. Wonderful, skirt, grief, giggle. Let's do wonderful. Okay, good. Vacation. Yeah. Okay. Joy. Yes. Okay. They all have their own stories for picking them, so you could play it 3 times for different stories and interactions. Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha. And this is, I guess, we gotta try and, like, go after one of them to, like, do the whole dating storyline, I guess. Get their full stories. Fireflies. Okay. Sugar. Uh-oh. I didn't want that one. Rose. Okay. Comfort. What does Doki Doki mean in Japanese? I don't know what that means. Music. Okay. Sunny. Peaceful. Silly. Ribbon. Oh, shit. Okay. Fireworks. Rainbow. It's love, I think. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Who's into anime? Ah, this one's into anime. Okay. Beauty. Okay. Clouds. Shit. Massacre. Judgment. Some of these scary words for this one is a little too much. Mouse. Fuck. Trying to... Oh, it's the sound of a beating heart. Interesting. Fun. That's gotta be Sayori, yeah. Hi again, Demo. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everybody else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise. I hope it isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you, making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan to just come here to hang out or what. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Manga's literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Demo always gives his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. Oh, so we take care of her already. That's nice to know. How dependable. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy, it's distracting. And you almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. How come? You and Demo can become good friends too. Sayori. As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know? Well, wait, Sayori. Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. She's very shy. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation. Don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. Nice. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, I won't make it a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright. Well, here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. Literature. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. It's going to be like a horror book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. Man, it looks like no one wants to be bothered today. I slump down into the nearest desk. How am I supposed to occupy myself with something literature-related by myself like this? I guess I could always read some of the book Yuri gave me, but I'm feeling a little too tired to read. I could probably fall asleep right now. I close my eyes and end up listening in on Sayori's conversation with Monica. We're probably going to seem really lame compared to all the other clubs, though. Well, we can't give up. Festivals are a chance to show what literature is all about. The problem is that the idea of a literature club sounds too dense and intellectual. But it's not like all that at all, We just need a way of showing that to everybody. Something that speaks to their creative minds. That doesn't solve the problem, though. What do you mean? Even if we come up with the most fun thing ever, nobody will come in the first place if it's a literature event. So it's more important to figure out how to get people to show up in the first place, And after they come, we can do the thing to speak to their creative minds. What's this? Sayori is taking this really seriously. It's rare to hear her deliberating like this. That's a good point. In that case, do you think food will do the trick? What kind? Well, I guess we could... Cupcakes! Good thinking. It worked on me. It should work on other people, right? Natsuki would love to do that. Ah, you're right. Natsuki makes the best cupcakes. That works out perfectly. That wasn't why you suggested it? Cupcakes speak to my creative tummy. Oh my god. Cupcakes it is, then. I'm hungry. Anyway, we still need to work out the details of the event itself. I find myself smiling. In the end, Sayori is still her usual self, but therein lies the unexpected reason I admire her. Unlike me, who has trouble finding any motivation at all, Sayori can put her mind to things and make them come to life. I suppose that's why I end up letting her get on my case about things. I can't help but wonder what it would be like to see the world through her eyes. Okay. I open my eyes to find Sayori's face filling my vision. I nearly fall out of my chair. Whoa, that was weird. Sorry. The way that it's zoomed in and then popped out. Wait. Actually, I'm not sorry at all. It's your fault for sleeping like that. This isn't the napping club. Does our school have a napping club? You're staying up late again, aren't you? Now that you're in a club, you're going to have less time for anime, You need to get used to it. Don't say that so loud. I glance over my shoulder to see if Monica overheard. It's true, though. Yeah, I know. You're always looking out for me, Sayori. It's what I do best. That's a problem. What about you? You look out for me better than you look out for yourself. You're still oversleeping every day, aren't you? Eh? Not every day. It's not very convincing. How many days this past week have you gotten up on time? It's a secret. I knew it. Come on. At least give me the benefit of the doubt. I can't even do that. Look, Sayori, it's written all over you. Eh? Sayori glances around at herself. How is it written all over me? Oh, come on. You're clearly in a rush this morning. Look, your hair's sticking out all around here. Ah! I run my fingertips down the side of Sayori's hair, trying to straighten it out. Man, you really need a brush for this. My hair is just really hard to get right. I won't fall for that. There's more than just your hair. Look, your bow isn't straight either. And there's a toothpaste stain on your collar right here. We're just nitpicking every little thing about this girl. I try to wipe the stain off with my finger, but nobody would ever notice that. Of course they would. Nobody's going to tell you about it because they don't want to embarrass you. Okay. Uh-oh. I think my chat paused. Hold on. Sorry, guys. There we go. That's better. Nobody's going to tell you about it because they don't want to embarrass you. Fortunately, I don't really care. Oh, she's embarrassed. I really don't care about that. Hey, you meanie. And you don't even keep your blazer buttoned up. Seriously, Sayori, why do you think you don't have a boyfriend yet? Eh? That's super mean. Sorry, but you'll thank me later. I start to button her blazer from the bottom. Once you see how much better it looks, you'll change your mind. That's why we're telling you and embarrassing you. Look at this shot. It's like the edges are all like warped. This is so funny. What is? Well, I was just thinking how weird it is to have a friend who does these kinds of things. Eh? Don't say that. You'll make me feel weird about it, stupid. It's okay though. I'm happy we're like this. Aren't you? I guess. Hey, be careful. The button might come off. Why is this one so hard to close? I struggle to fully close the button near her chest. Wally? You're making me play this and it's making me feel weird. Now you're making me embarrassed. Does this thing even fit you properly? It did when I bought it. If you ever buttoned it, you would have noticed sooner that it doesn't fit you anymore. What are you smiling about? I have to read this? It means my boobs got bigger again. Don't say that out loud. Anyway, you look much better now, so... Why does it feel so strange to see Sayori's blazer buttoned up like that? But it's so stuffy. Ugh. It's not worth it at all. Sayori hastily unbuttons her blazer once more. Phew. That's so much better. Sayori puts her arms out and twirls around. So if I keep it unbuttoned, then I won't get a boyfriend, right? What kind of logic is that? And why are you saying that like it's a good thing? Because if I had a boyfriend, then he wouldn't let you do things like this. He wouldn't even let you do things like this. It's a dating sim. What did you expect? I know, but it's gonna get worse than this. Oh man, things. That was our first like different shot with like the close up on the girl, and it's just gonna keep getting worse, isn't it? And you take care of me better than anyone else would anyway. So that's why I'm keeping it unbuttoned. Stop saying all these embarrassing things. Eh? I didn't say anything embarrassing. Jeez. Well, anyway, just focus on trying to wake up a little earlier. Only if you focus on getting to bed earlier. Fine, fine. It's a deal. I guess we really are better at taking care of each other than we are at taking care of ourselves. Yeah, I guess so, huh? So maybe you should come wake me up in the morning. You're doing it again, Sayori. Aw, but I was joking that time. It's impossible to tell with you sometimes. Okay, everyone. Eh? Monica suddenly calls out. Why don't we share the poems we wrote now? Yay! Demo, I can't wait to read yours. Yeah, same. I fail to sound enthusiastic, but Sayori still trots away to retrieve her poem. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Hey, JK, welcome. Monica. Is Monica your favorite, JK? By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before. I'll understand. Oh, yeah, I'm sure once we get to know all these girls, I'm sure we'll end up liking all of them. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before. Well, now that everybody's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait. Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. I have no idea. Does this game get super deep? Am I gonna have feelings during this game? Because so far, this seems very run-of-the-mill. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. I don't say anything. Oh boy. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. Gonna be a surprise? Okay. I'm looking forward to the surprise. I do the same myself. The vibes. Alright. Who should I show my poem to first? Probably Sayori, right? I'm definitely most comfortable with sharing it with Sayori first. She's my good friend, after all. Alright. Oh my goodness, this is so good, Demo. I love it. I had no idea you were such a good writer. Sayori, you must be seriously overreacting. I'm not a good writer at all. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. Well, maybe that's why, because I have no idea what I like either. Jeez. I'm sure Yuri's opinion has to be a little bit more constructive than this, maybe even Natsuki's. Are you sure you don't like it just because I wrote it? Huh? Well, I'm sure that's a part of it. I think I understand you better than a lot of other people, you know? So when I read your poem, it's not just a poem, it's a demo poem. And that makes it feel extra special. I can feel your feelings in it. Sayori hugs the sheet against her chest. This girl's a little... She's all about us. And that's why we're going after her. She's the easy target, chat. I'm really happy that you wrote one. It reminds me of how you're really part of a club now. Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Well, of course. I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See? It's like I said before, Demo. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people. That's something that only really good people do. Thanks, Sayori. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. Then again, can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined. Knowing how much this means to her and all. Yeah. And I'm gonna make sure you have lots of fun here. I think I missed a word there. That will be my way of thanking you. Alright, I'm gonna hold you to that then. Yay! Now you'll read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this. We'll see about that. Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Oh God. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Perfect line right there. I want breakfast. Sayori, this is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this? No, just a little bit. You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. Well, at least that makes me feel a little better about myself. Don't be mean. I still tried my best. Ah, yeah. I didn't mean to say it was a bad poem. It just came out. It came out nice, or how should I put it? It sounds just like you. Really? Yeah. Especially that last line. I made eggs and toast. Even though you were late to school? It's bad to skip breakfast. I skip breakfast all the time. I get all cranky. Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me. This was so much fun. Monica's the best. Ah, yeah. But next time, I won't forget. And I'm going to write the best poem ever. Well, I guess I'll look forward to it. Oh my god, we have to... Oh, these are long. Holy shit. Okay. Natsuki next. We're just going to go down the list. Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you. That's a little blunt. Well, excuse me. It's not like I said it was bad. It just doesn't evoke any emotions. So basically, it's not cute enough for your tastes. Do you want to get smacked? I'll pass. Sigh. Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you'll like it. Oh, this is very short. Eagles can fly. Monkeys can climb. Crickets can leap. Horses can race. Owls can seek. Cheetahs can run. Eagles can fly. People can try. But that's about it. What? Okay. Yeah. I told you that you weren't going to like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? That's right. Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening, so I decided to write about it. Cool. But the other nice things about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. Oh, okay. Helps bring out the feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki's feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Nice. We're nice guys, chat. We're very nice. Okay. Yeah, so her poem was like nothing like I thought. It was just like about, like, it was more serious than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more about like flowers and all that kind of stuff. Yuri. She's reading our poem. She's not going to like our poem. Yuri stares at the poem. A minute passes, more than enough time for her to finish reading. Sorry. I forgot to start speaking. Very aloof, this one. It's fine. Don't force yourself. I'm not. I just need to put my thoughts into words. Hold on. Okay. This is your first time writing a poem, right? Yeah. Must be obvious. Why do you ask? I'm just making sure. I guess that it might be after reading through it. Ah, so it's that bad. No. Did I just raise my voice? I'm so sorry. Yuri buries her face in her hands. I couldn't help but notice that it's been several minutes and we really haven't gotten anywhere. It might take Yuri a while to get used to new people. It's fine, I really didn't notice. What were you saying? Right, it's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I need a drink, chat. Whoa, an hour went by that fast? This is flying by. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a few writing styles separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. They tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. Oh, interesting. Okay. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Okay. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice, and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though. Biased how? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri's apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calm breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Okay. Interesting. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. Terrible handwriting? What are we talking about here? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. I'm just a bad reader. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. Turn on my space heater here. Get it nice and warm. It's getting cold. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. That was easy to digest? Oh God. I'm in for a world of hurt here, guys. If the subject matter gets a little bit more complex than this, I'm gonna have problems. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Hoo-hoo. Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Demo. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past. Okay. And soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing, really. Well, it makes me happy that you think that. Just remember that it won't be long before you pick up on these things too. Yeah, maybe you're right. I guess I'll have to keep trying. I'm counting on you. We got one left, chat. Hi, Demo. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Demo. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's sort of that barrier that we all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. I like this one. It makes me think of something Sayori would like. Is that so? You and Sayori are really good friends, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you had those sorts of things in common. Well, we may be good friends, but Sayori and I are actually really different. Sorry, I need to blow my nose real quick. Okay. We may be good friends, but Sayori and I are actually really different. Well, that may be the case, but maybe there are also some similarities that you wouldn't expect. The way she talks about you, sounds like the two of you really care about each other's well-being. Even if you show it in different ways, it ends up being more similar than you'd think. So I think that's the kind of vibe I get when reading your poem. You sure you're not reading into it too much? I could be. Oh gosh, I sound like Yuri. But in any case, Sayori's writing has kind of a gentle feel to it. I can tell that she likes exploring with emotions like happiness and sadness. Who knew that someone so happy could enjoy sad things too? Okay. Yeah, that's totally unexpected. Well, to each their own. And you shouldn't be afraid to experiment a little bit either. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kind of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. I feel like she is the game developer talking straight to us and being like, hey, like, explore the options here. Don't just go for one. And then Wally was like, no, definitely go for like one. Which is obviously the point of the game. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sounded pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Hole in wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the sparkle protrudes. A noisy neighbor, an angry boyfriend, I'll never know I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind, like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late, my retinas. Already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. What the fuck does this mean? It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything, a hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in, I was looking out, and he, on the other side, was looking in. Okay. So what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be very powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you won't ever make progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. Just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. So she's like our guide through this game. She's like trying to help us with figuring out the other three. I think. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room. That was a little more stressful than I had anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club, after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sayori and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Huh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Ah, thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feelings of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was just trying to say something nice. You mean I had to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple of suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I wouldn't have somebody who actually... I would have asked someone who actually liked it, which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and Demo did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I spent a long time establishing my writing style. These two do not like each other. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless, of course, I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Demo liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh? I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Eh? This music. That's not what I... You're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Demo appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours. Huh? And how do you know that he didn't appreciate my advice more? They're fighting over me, guys. Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew size bigger as soon as Demo started showing up. Oh, God. Natsuki? Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. I don't like fighting guys. Suddenly, both girls turned towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. Demo, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. If she could get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her, Demo. Wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, Demo? Well? How did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I know anything about writing, but whomever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. Oh, no. We have to pick one? I feel like Natsuki overreacted to the feedback that Yuri gave. So part of me feels like I should pick Yuri just because I feel like how that all started was kind of Natsuki's fault. You know? But I could ask Sayori to help me, which might score me extra points with her. I don't know. Help me, Sayori. Natsuki glares at me, drying up any words I have in my mouth. So instead, I turn to Yuri. But Yuri's expression is so defenseless that I can't bring myself to say anything to her. Sayori, eh? Yeah? Everyone's fighting is making Sayori uncomfortable. How can the two of you keep fighting when you know you're making your friend feel like this? Follow your heart. Okay. Demo. Well, that's her problem. This isn't about her. I agree. It's unfair for others to interject their feelings into our conflict. Oh, Jesus. So we basically picked her over these two. We just doubled down on Sayori, I think. Yeah, unless Sayori wants to tell Yuri what a stuck-up jerk she's being. She would never. It's your immaturity that's made her upset in the first place. Excuse me? Are you listening to yourself? This is exactly why nobody likes... Stop! Natsuki, Yuri, you guys are my friends. You're my friends. I just want everyone to get along and be happy. My friends are wonderful people. I love them because of their differences. Natsuki's poems. They're amazing because they give you so many feelings with just a few words. And Yuri's poems are amazing because they paint beautiful pictures in your head. Everyone's so talented. So why are we fighting? Because, well, also, Natsuki's cute, and there's nothing wrong with that. And Yuri's boobs are the same as they always were. Big and beautiful. They're speechless. They don't know what to say. Sayori stands triumphantly. Monica stands behind her with a bewildered expression. I'll make some tea. Yuri rushes off. Natsuki sits down with a blank expression on her face, staring at nothing. So this is why Sayori is vice president, I whisper to Monica. She nods in return. To be honest, I might come off as a good leader, and I can organize things, but I'm not very good with people. I couldn't even bring myself to interject. As president, that's kind of embarrassing of me. Nah, it's not like I can blame you. I wasn't able to say anything either. Well, I guess that means Sayori is amazing in her own ways, isn't she? You could say that. She might be an airhead, but sometimes is weirdly suspicious that she knows exactly what she's doing. I see. Take good care of her, okay? I would hate to see her get herself hurt. I would hate to see her get herself hurt. That's a weird way of saying that. I would hate to see her hurting herself, is basically what she said. That makes the two of us. I guess because she's so aloof and bubbly that she doesn't pay attention. You can count on me. Monica smiles sweetly at me, causing my stomach to knot. Such a genuine person really does make a good president, regardless of what she says. If only I could get the chance to talk to her a little more. Yeah, we're not being presented with much opportunity to talk with Monica. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say it was worth it. It was alright. Well, mostly. Demo, how about you? Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about it with everyone. Awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Great. Same thing tomorrow. More reading for me. Okay. And maybe you learned something from your friends, too. So your poems will turn out even better. I did learn a little more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination. Demo, ready to walk home? Sure, let's go. Sayori beams at me. It truly has been a while since Sayori and I have spent so much time together. I can't really say I'm not enjoying it either. Sayori, about what happened earlier. Huh? What do you mean? You know, between Yuri and Natsuki? Does that kind of thing happen often? No. That's really the first time I've seen them fight like that. I promise they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you? Where'd you pull that out of? Why would I hate them? No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they make good friends with you. Phew. You know, Demo, it's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club, but I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest. And I think everyone really likes you too. That's... Every day is going to be so much fun. Looks like Sayori still hasn't caught on to the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? Well, we'll just have to see what the future holds, Sayori. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. I said that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes. Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. Time to write another poem? That's right. Okay. So probably something like vibrant? Oh shit, that's her. Oh god. Blankets, probably Sayori, right? Shit. Suicide? Oh my god. There's a lot of bad things on this screen right now. Nightgown? Playground. Oh my god, dude, we're not getting any Sayori stuff. Shit. Lust, unending, frightening excitement. That's her. Okay. Clouds is her. Shit, it's not. Wonderful. That's her. Okay. Vanilla? Shit. Rainbow. Flower. Skirt. Shit. Chocolate. Fuck. Can I start over? Can I start over? Shit. Color? Okay, color's good. Portrait? Fuck! If I save, I can. Shit. But don't worry. Okay. Smile? Okay. Vacation. Joy. Bliss. Okay. We're doing better now. We got one more. Anime is gonna be her, right? Maybe sunset? Yeah. All right, one more. Papa. That's weird. Love? Daydream? Yeah, Sayori. Okay. That was a weird transition. Another day passes and it's time for the club meeting already. I've gotten a little more comfortable here over the past couple... Oh, it's been a couple of days. Entering the club room... Oh, I guess that makes sense. The first day we introduced ourselves, the second day we did our first poem, now it's the third day. Entering the club room, the usual scene greets me. Hey, Demo. Yo, Sayori. Looks like you're in a good mood today. I'm just still not used to you being in the club, that's all. I see. It's a pretty simple thing to get you in a good mood, but I guess it's always the simple things with you anyway. Speaking of which, I'm kind of hungry. Will you come with me to buy a snack? No thanks. Huh? That's not like you at all. I have my reasons. Don't question me. Why don't we take a look at your purse, Sayori? She just wants my money. Why that all of a sudden? No reason, really. I just wanted to look at it. Sayori nervously retrieves her coin purse. She fumbles with the latch and gets it open, and then she turns it upside down and lets its contents spill onto the desk. Only 2 small coins fall out. I knew it. I can see right through you, Sayori. That's not fair. How'd you even know? It's simple. If you had enough money in the first place, you would have brought a snack before coming into the club room. So either you're not hungry and wanted an excuse to take a walk, or you plan to conveniently forget that you spent all your money so that I would lend you some. But there's one more thing. You're always hungry, and so that only leaves the one option. I give up. Don't make me feel guilty. If you feel guilty, that means you deserve to feel guilty. Yuri suddenly, just comes out of nowhere and starts laughing. Yuri suddenly giggles. Huh? I didn't notice that she was listening in. Her face is in her book, as always. Oh, okay, so she didn't walk over and, start smiling at us. She was over elsewhere. Okay. I wasn't listening or anything. I was just something in my book. Yuri, tell Demo to let me borrow some money. Don't get me involved like that, Sayori. Besides, you should only buy what you can responsibly afford. And frankly, after pulling a mischievous little stunt like that, your suffering is fair enough retribution. So she was listening. Did I just... I didn't mean that. I got too absorbed into my book. I really like when you speak your mind, Yuri. It doesn't happen much, but it's a fun side of you. There's no way you could think that. You're right, though. I did something bad, and now I have to accept the retribution. That! Still coming from you, Sayori. I guess there's a little devil inside all of us, isn't there? Don't let her fool you. Sayori knows exactly what she's doing. After all, she told you guys she was bringing me to the club before she even told me. But you wouldn't have come if it weren't for the cupcakes. So I had to trick Natsuki into making them. Oh my god, she's a little, like... She's like 5-head right now. She's big brain. Come on, give me more credit than that, Sayori. Out of nowhere, something smacks Sayori in the face and tumbles onto the desk. Whap! Kya! Ow. What was... A cookie? Sure enough, it's a giant cookie wrapped in plastic. Sayori glances around. Is this a miracle? It's because I paid my restitution? Retribution. Actually, that one almost worked. I was just gonna give it to you, but then I heard you blab about the cupcakes. It was totally worth seeing your reaction, though. Natsuki, that's so nice of you. I'm so happy. Sayori hugs the cookie. Jeez, just eat it. Sayori rapidly tears open the wrapper and takes a big bite. Oh, good. Oh. Sayori suddenly clasps her hands over her mouth. I bit my tongue. You're going through a lot over just one cookie. Natsuki takes a bite of her own cookie. Ah, yours looks really good too, Natsuki. Can I try it? Jeez, beggars can't be choosers. But yours is chocolate. Yeah, why do you think I gave you that one? Fine. Still, I'm really happy that you shared this one with me. Sayori gets out of her seat and goes behind Natsuki, then wraps her arms around her. Ah, jeez. I get it. Cookie still in hand, Natsuki reaches up to nudge Sayori off of her. Sayori suddenly leans down and takes a bite out of Natsuki's cookie. Hey! Did you seriously just do that? Mouthful, Sayori trots away to safety. Yuri and I laugh as well. Jeez, you're such a kid sometimes. Monica, can you tell Sayori, Natsuki glances around. Monica isn't in the club room. Ugh. Where's Monica anyway? Good question. Have any of you heard anything about her being late today? Not me. Yeah, I haven't either. That's a bit unusual. I hope she's okay. Of course she's okay. She probably just had something to do today. She's pretty popular after all. Huh? You don't think she has a... I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably more desirable than all of us combined. That's true. Excuse me? Suddenly, the door swings open. Sorry. I'm super sorry. Ah, there you are. I didn't mean to be late. I hope you guys weren't worried or anything. Huh? Monica chose the club over her boyfriend after all. You're so strong-willed. But boyfriend? What on earth are you talking about? Monica quizzically glances at me. Ah, never mind that. What held you up anyway? Well, my last period today was study hall. To be honest, I just kind of lost track of time. Weird. Ahaha. That makes no sense, though. You wouldn't have heard the bell ring. You would have heard the bell ring at least. I must not have heard it since I was practicing piano. In study hall? Piano? I wasn't aware you played music. I wasn't aware that you played music as well, Monica. I don't really. I just kind of started recently. I've always wanted to learn piano. That's so cool. You should play something for us, Monica. Monica looks at me. Maybe once I get a little bit better, I will. Yay! That sounds cool. I'd also look forward to it. Is that so? In that case, I won't let you down, Demo. Monica smiles sweetly. I didn't mean any pressure or anything like that. Don't worry, I've been practicing a whole lot recently, and I'd really love the chance to share once I'm ready. I see. In that case, best of luck. Thanks. So I didn't miss anything, did I? Not really. I choose to leave out Sayori's mischievous escapade. I'm sure Natsuki will end up complaining to her anyway. Looks like everyone has already settled down. Sayori somehow already finished her entire cookie. Yuri's back to her book, and Natsuki disappeared into the closet. Demo! Sayori suddenly comes up to me. I'm gonna get some supplies from another classroom. Wanna come with me? Supplies? What for? Well, you know how the festival's coming up? Me and Monica were gonna make some posters and stuff. So I need to go find some crayons and markers and glue sticks. Ah, I see. Sure, I'll go with you. Yay! Okay, Monica, we'll be back soon. Oh, are you going with Demo to get the supplies? There's no need to trouble yourself. I'd be happy to go with him. Aw, but I wanted to go. It's so much fun exploring empty classrooms and stuff. Okay. It was just a suggestion. See if you can find poster paper too, okay? Okay. Ready, Demo? Yep, let's go. To the other classroom. Sayori and I exit the clubroom. I follow behind as Sayori hums and skips along the hallway. Honestly, it feels like I'm taking a kid to the mall or something. Sayori finds pleasure in the simplest things sometimes. Hey Sayori, what exactly are we doing for the festival anyway? I'm not sure how you would make an event out of literature. Ahaha. Me and Monica have it all planned out, don't you worry. Is that so? Yup. We're gonna do a poetry performance. A performance? Of what kind? Well, everyone's gonna take turns on stage and recite their favorite poems. We have to get on stage and recite a poem? Ah, that sounds kind of dull. Demo! You're not thinking about it the right way at all. It's not just about reading poems, it's about performing them. Like you say the lines of the poem, like, between my feet, the last remaining flower beckons to me. I twist the stem, freeing it from its clinging roots, caressing the final joyous moment between my fingers. But to what ends have I summoned this joy? For now, when I look in every direction, the once prosperous field before me is but a barren wasteland. Like that. Sayori, how do I put this? I'm sure it's just me, but it's impossible for me to take you seriously when you talk like that. Eh? You meanie. I'm working super hard on this, you know. I know. I just meant that it's pretty unordinary contrast to your cute self. Don't say it, it's embarrassing. But I guess that means I'm doing a good job. Yeah, I guess so. I'm super excited. The festival's gonna be so much fun. Sayori spins herself around in the hallway again. Hey Demo, this classroom over here is empty. Let's begin the mission. The mission, eh? It's been a long time since I've spent time with Sayori like this. But in the end, she hasn't changed one bit. She's nothing but a ball of sunshine drawing happy vibes from the world around her. It's a pretty nostalgic feeling for me. As the years went by, I began to hold myself in my room more and more. So going adventuring with Sayori brings about a special sort of feeling I forgot I had in me. Aw, they're made for each other, guys. The two of us enter the classroom. Sayori heads straight to the closet and I follow. Let's see what we have in here. Crayons! Sayori pulls a box of crayons off the shelf. They're the best brand, too. They're kind of dirty, though. Sayori starts pulling various crayons out of the box, reading the color names. Alright, that's one down. Don't get distracted. We still need to find... Wait, I'm looking for my favorite color. Fine. Then at least move aside so I can look for the poster paper. Ah, I dropped one by accident. Smack. Yeah! Sayori bends over and smacks her forehead right into the shelf. She falls to the floor and the crayons spill all over her lap. Ow, 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 ow. Oh my gosh. You okay? My forehead. Sayori clutches her forehead. Geez, Sayori, that's just like you, isn't it? Come on, let me see. Hey, King! What the heck? What did I walk into? We're dating. We're dating people. We're going after Sayori, our long lost, or not long lost, but like our longtime friend. That's who we're trying to romance right now. Since Sayori is sitting on the floor, I grab her by the waist and pull her out of the closet. You have to move your hands, Sayori, but it hurts. Just do it for a second. What is this? What is this, game developer? Sayori slowly releases her hands from her forehead. I gently brush her bangs to the side. Ow. Sorry, there's a huge red mark on the center of her forehead. A bump is starting to form as well. Man, that's gonna swell up. I should find you some ice. Demo, where would we even find ice at this time? I guess a cold drink would do. You don't have to. I'm fine with looking like a unicorn. Even wincing from the pain, Sayori makes a silly joke. Don't worry, it gets better. This just seems so awkward for me. What are you saying? I'll be right back, okay? Okay. Time to get a drink. Okay. We were recommended this, King, by some people from the community. I put Sayori on the shoulder and run out into the hallway. Oh, I pat Sayori. I I thought this was saying that we just put Sayori on our shoulder and then are like running into the hallway, but we pat her on the shoulder. I locate the nearest vending machine. What should I get? It doesn't really matter since it'll be used as an ice pack rather than a drink, but I know Sayori likes apple juice, so I purchased that one. In just a moment, I'm already returning to the classroom where I left Sayori. Is she gonna be gone? Oh, okay. I can understand. Apparently it gets better, King. So let's see. She has one palm on her forehead. Apparently we're supposed to like feel according... I'm picking up feelings from chat that we're gonna like actually start to feel for these characters here soon. Yeah, it was recommended. Yeah, it was on the recommended games list. She has one palm on her forehead and is using the other hand to clumsily scoop crayons back into the box. Don't underestimate this game. If you want to enjoy it together with demo, don't look it up. That makes more sense. Yeah, everybody told me don't look up like anything about this game, just play it. So that's what we're doing. And I don't know if you know anything about it, King, but yeah. She has one palm on her forehead and is using the other one to clumsily scoop crayons back into the box. This is like the only sim game I would play again. Really? Wow. Okay. At least the music's great so far. At least they were already in the wrong spots before I spilled them. Like I was gonna. Yo! Sayori, here. I hand Sayori the bottle of apple juice. It's nice and cold. Sayori opens the cap and starts drinking from it. Sayori? What the fuck? You're gonna what, King? Sayori, what are you doing? It's for your forehead, idiot. Yeah, Wally's gonna take credit. Oh, you're gonna take off? Okay, no problem, King. Thanks for stopping by. Ah, sorry, I forgot. How hard did you hit your head? Sayori places the bottle against the bump on her head. It stings. Just bear with it. It'll feel better soon. Looks like you cleaned up most of the crayons, so that's good. Hey, Demo. This kind of reminds me of growing up, doesn't it? What do you mean? I saw someone play it, then I immediately... You saw someone play it, and then immediately left? Oh, got you. You know how we used to play outside all the time? I would always try to keep up with you. You were kind of oblivious in some ways, like I usually fell behind or had trouble climbing on the things you did. But sometimes when I tried to do things I couldn't, I would get myself hurt, and I'd fall and scrape myself or get a bump. I'd start crying really hard, and then you would rush over as quick as you could. You would really try to get me to stop crying. It's almost like you blamed yourself and you were afraid of getting in trouble if someone found out. Even though it really wasn't your fault at all, you know? Did I really do that? Yeah, you don't remember? Come to think of it, maybe I do remember a bit. I guess I was always so focused on my games that I didn't pay enough attention to you. So in a way, it was my fault, kind of like this time too. If I wasn't rushing you out of the closet, you probably wouldn't have hit your head. Demo, I don't think you realize it, but you're always thinking about other people. Even after all these years, you're rushing to help me even though I'm just being clumsy. You're really a sweetheart. It's working, chat, we're getting them. Don't call me that. And I don't really do this kind of thing all the time. I guess when it comes to you, it just feels natural. Before I even know it, I'm treating you like that. I guess that's what happens when you've been friends for so long. Really? Maybe you're right. Demo, I'm so glad that nothing's changed between us. Do you think it'll be like this forever? Forever? If I'm honest to myself, there's no telling where we'll end up for college or after that. It's not like other sim games? Okay. So it wouldn't be fair for me to make any promises. But, well, I hope so. It's been this long already, right? I can't imagine you ever changing, so my hopes are up. I'm so happy. Sayori has a whimsical expression in her eyes. We remain silent for a moment. She's so silly and clumsy on the outside that when I see her deep in thought like this, it makes me not want to disturb her. I guess we should go back. I don't want to worry Monica, you know? Good luck with that. She's gonna see her forehead either way. Not if I hide it under my bangs. See, you can't see anything. Sayori hops to her feet. Ah! She clutches her forehead again. Don't stand up so fast after hurting yourself. Ooh. I guess it's too late now. Anyway, let's go. My wife's texting me. Not for everyone, part of being a variety. Yeah, it's not for everyone. Yeah. It all comes with the territory of variety streaming. Yeah, exactly, Wally. I follow Sayori out of the room. Sayori plays with her bangs to try and hide the bump, but without much success. In a moment, we make it back to the club room. Ah, you're back. Good timing. I was just about ready to share with our poems. Ah, Sayori, your forehead. She's fine, don't worry about it. I was playing with the crayons and smacked my forehead into the shelf. Well, anyway, were you able to find anything we needed? Uh-huh, I have it right. Sayori frantically glances around herself. I forgot all of the stuff. Calm down, Sayori. I have it all right here. I found the poster paper, too. Yeah, it's very true, JK. It's amazing how much the viewership kind of wildly goes up and down depending on what we're playing. Ah-ha-ha. Sounds like you ended up doing all the work, Demo. Ah, well, Sayori. I failed to come up with an excuse for Sayori. I made it an adventure. Yeah, that. Ah, okay. In any case, good work. I'll start working on the posters tonight. Me too. Okay, everyone. Are you ready to share your poems? Guess I should grab mine. After making sure the crayon box is closed tightly, I return to my seat. Oh my god, we have to go through all 4 of these now. Oh boy. Alright, Sayori. Demo, I really love your poems. I can't believe you've been hiding these from me. Huh? I'm not hiding anything, but your poems are so good. Yesterday's, and this one too. You can't tell me you haven't done this before. I mean, you're really the only one who feels that way, so... Huh? No way. Not even Natsuki? Well, I guess Natsuki's is the least likely to admit how much she likes something. But I don't think it's that. What do you mean? Well, I guess I'll be honest about it. It's a lot easier to write poems when I'm thinking about you. Making the moves. Huh? Whoa. Stop thinking weird things, idiot. I just mean that you're a really expressive person, I guess. How am I supposed to write poems about my own stupid life? But you somehow make everything in your life an adventure. Even the little things. Like cooking. Let's not talk about that. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that I feel more feelings through you than I can through myself. Kind of had that weird connection. It's your fault for getting in my business all the time. Huh? I don't know if I understand. You never understand when I try to explain things to you, do you, Sayori? I pat Sayori's head. Ah, hey, I'm not a kid, you know. Are you sure about that? Maybe. Sayori starts fiddling with her pencil between her hands. Hey, Demo, will you give me your poem? I kind of want to keep it. Why? 'Cause, well, it's the first time you've written something for me. Exclamation points. Sayori, you completely misunderstood. I didn't write this for you. Are you even listening anymore? Well, whatever. I'll give it to you when we go home. Really? Snap. Ah, I broke my pencil. Sayori hastily bends down to pick up the piece she dropped. Are we about to get another image of her bent over? I hope not. But being inattentive of her surroundings, she bumps right into me. Sorry. It's fine. I'll get it for you. I bend down and pick up the broken pencil. Sayori clutches the desk beside her to support herself, knees shaking. I'm a little clumsy today. Let's sit down, Sayori. Yeah. I grab Sayori's arm and help her sit at the... Oh, thank God. Okay, we got past that stuff. Anyway, I still haven't read your poem. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. But it's not as good as yours. Jeez, don't worry. I'm sure I'll like it. Bottles. Oh my God, this is so long. I pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. It's the secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little balls of sunshine all rubbing together like a bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly. But there's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe. And I put the bottle on the shelf with all of the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in bottles all in a row. My collection makes me lots of friends. Each bottle a starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friend feels a certain way. Down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams. Friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go, like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets hiding in the nooks and crannies. Digging and digging, scraping and This is kind of gross. Scraping and scraping, I blow dust off my bottle caps. It doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally, all done, I open up and in come my friends. In they come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? I frantically pull them from the shelf, one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle. But every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in shards all over the floor. They were supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading, something. But all I hear is echo, 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 echo inside my head. This is not a cute poem at all. Like, it started kind of cute, but this is like fucking scary. People are like stealing her happy dreams away from her. What the fuck? Holy crap. Sorry, did you really write this? Of course I did. Didn't I tell you yesterday I was going to write the best poem ever? Yeah, but I mean, I didn't expect something like this coming from you. Monica taught me a whole lot. Monica's influencing her. And I've been really in touch with my feelings recently. I see that. It's almost kind of creepy. Creepy? Well, not exactly. Maybe because I'm so used to being so cheerful. Well, never mind. I'm thinking too hard about it. The point is, it came out good, so you should be proud of it. Aw, thanks. I feel like I was meant to express myself this way. It even helps me understand my own feelings a little bit better. Writing is like magic. You've gotten pretty passionate about this, huh? I hope you keep it up. Yeah, writing's the best. I'm gonna keep writing until I die. Don't get ahead of yourself. Ooh. Sayori's always had a habit of getting obsessed with something before dropping it no matter more than a week later. I wonder if this is one of those times. But seeing the passion in her eyes makes it hard for me to be pessimistic. Who should I show my poem to next? Well, let's go down the list. Well, it's not really any worse than your last one, but I can't really say it's any better either. Phew. Huh? Phew what? Well, anything that isn't a train wreck, I'll take it as a win. And I get the feeling you're probably the most critical. Hey, what makes you... Wait, maybe that was a compliment? Glad to see someone recognizes my experience. Well then, keep practicing and maybe you'll be as good as me someday. That's, something tells me Natsuki's completely missed the point. Come to think of it, this kind of reminds me of Sayori's poem from yesterday. You think so? Well, yeah, I guess if you've been friends with her for so long, you might be on the same wavelength. But you never really struck me as her type. Sayori has a type all of a sudden? Well, I don't know, but honestly, how can someone so, fluffy spend so much time with someone like you? It's like she's dragging around a dead weight. Ugh, that was a little unnecessary. But think about it this way. If it weren't for me, she would probably just fly away like letting go of a balloon. You could say we take care of each other in our own way. Whatever it is, I don't get it. Oh yeah, I guess I'm supposed to show you my poem. Here. Amy likes spiders. You know what I heard about Amy? Amy likes spiders. Icky, wriggly, hairy, ugly spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a cute singing voice. I heard her singing my favorite love song. Every time she sang the chorus, my heart would pound to the rhythm of the words. But she likes spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. One time, I hurt my leg really bad. Amy helped me up and took me to the nurse. I tried to not let her touch me. She likes spiders, so her hands are probably gross. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a lot of friends. I always see her talking to people. She probably talks about spiders. What if her friends start to like spiders too? That's why I'm not friends with her. It doesn't matter if she has other hobbies. It doesn't matter if she keeps it private. It doesn't matter if it doesn't hurt anyone. It's gross. She's gross. The world is better off without spider lovers. And I'm going to tell everyone. Okay. Not bad, right? It's quite a bit longer than yesterday's. Yesterday's was way too short. I was just warming up. I hope you think that this is the best I could do. Or maybe she said not the best she could do? No, of course not. Anyway, the message is pretty straightforward in this poem. I doubt I have to explain it. Sometimes you can explain complicated issues with much simpler analogies. And it helps people realize how stupid they're being. Like, anyone would agree that the subject of this poem is an ignorant jerk. I wonder who the subject is. Do you know people like that? Of course. It's about how everyone thinks That doesn't matter. It can be about anything. I wrote it to be easy to relate to. Everyone has some kind of weird hobby or a guilty pleasure. Something that you're afraid if people find out they make fun of you or think less of you. Oh, is she writing about herself? So she was the person who likes spiders in her poem, I think. But that just makes people stupid. Who cares what someone likes as long as they're not hurting anyone and it makes them happy? I think people really need to learn to respect others for liking weird things. Well, you're definitely right. At least I can relate to that. And I'm sure a lot of other people can too. It's what I do best, after all. I don't like writing unless there's a good message to take away from it. Like, conveying emotions is important, but I want to make people think, not just feel. Remember that. I'm going to write a good one for tomorrow too, so look forward to it. Okay? 2 more, chat. Yuri. Are you still mad at me? Were we mad at her at one point? For disrespecting Natsuki yesterday? Because reading this poem, now I know why you get mad at me. Because you prefer her writing over mine. That's not really true. Meaning when I disrespected her, I disrespected you too, didn't I? Oh no. Yuri, you might be reading into this a little too much. How could I be so stupid? I always let these things happen. Whenever I think before I speak, I just come off as awkward and unlikable. But if I speak without thinking, the things I want to keep inside come out and makes people hate me. So please don't force yourself to be around me. I know this is what Monica wants. But it's not fair for you. It's not fair to you when you could be enjoying your time with Natsuki and Sayori. She's really hard on herself. Yuri, please. It makes it easier for me if you don't express any concern. Besides, I have my books with me. That's all I need. Yuri smiles sadly and puts her head down on her desk. I'm frustrated. I don't hate her, but it's as if she's not capable of listening to me over her own thoughts. I sigh to myself. All I can do is accept that's how she is. If she wants to be left alone, then I have no choice but to abide by that request. So we didn't even get to read her. I think we just locked her out of being an option. Monica. Hi again, no? How's the writing going? Alright, I guess. I'll take that. As long as it's not going bad. I'm happy that you're applying yourself. Maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece. I wouldn't count on that. You never know. Want to share what you wrote for today? Sure, here you go. I give my poem to Monica. Alright. It's pretty good. It makes me think of Sayori, like the other one that you wrote. You two are like a dynamic duo. It's kind of exaggerating it. Yeah, probably. But you do spend a lot of time with her in this club, don't you? Then again, I don't blame you for being a little shy. I'm not shy, it's just... I'm just teasing. I know it takes a bit of time to make friends with everyone, but Yuri and Natsuki are super interesting people, so don't be afraid to give them their share of time. She's trying to spread my time out along with everybody else. And you can talk to me every now and again, too. I haven't had the option to. I'm not, like, unapproachable or anything, am I? No, it's nothing like that. It's just still getting used to being here, that's all. Yeah. I'm sorry if I was putting pressure on you or something. I really didn't mean it like that. No, don't worry. I get what you're saying. Well, all right. But anyway, you want to read my poem now? I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. All right, let's take a look. Save me. The colors, they won't stop. Bright, beautiful colors. Flashing, expanding, piercing. Red, green, blue. An endless cacophony of meaningless noise. Whoa. The noise, it won't stop. Violent, grating waveforms. Squeaking, screeching, piercing. Sine, cosine, tangent. Like playing a chalkboard on a turntable. Like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust. An endless poem of meaningless. Load me. Weird. Look at the space in between these. Huh. It's even more abstract than your last one, huh? Ahaha. I guess it's just the way I write. I'm sorry if you don't like it. No, I never said that. It's just kind of a thing I've never really seen before, I guess. It's kind of like playing with my space on the paper. Choosing where and how to space your words can totally change the mood of the poem. She did do a lot of weird spacing. It's almost like magic. The way I wrote the lines really short makes it feel like they're trying to speak over the noise. I didn't pick up on that. It's still hard for me to tell what it's about, though. Sometimes asking what a poem is about isn't the right question. A poem can be as abstract as a physical expression of a feeling. A poem can be as abstract as a physical expression of a feeling, or a conversation with the reader. So putting it that way, not every poem is about something. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. She's just like directly talking to us as if she's the dev. You never know when you might change your mind. Or when something unexpected may happen. Wait, is this tip even about writing? What am I even talking about? That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. I guess that's a hint to save? There's a lot of empty slots. Oh my god. Alright. Okay, everyone. We're all done reading each other's poems, right? I have something extra planned for today, so everybody could come sit at the front of the room. Is this about the festival? Well, sort of. Do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can put together anything good in just a few days. We'll just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members. That's a concern of mine as well. I don't really do well with last-minute preparations. Don't worry so much. We're gonna keep it simple, okay? We won't need much more than a few decorations. Sayori's been working on posters, and I've designed some pamphlets we can give out during the event. Okay, that's great and all, but that doesn't tell us what we're actually going to be doing for the event. Ah, sorry, I thought you heard about it already. We're going to be performing. Performing? Monica? Yeah, we're going to be having a poetry performance. Each of us are going to choose a poem to recite during the event. What the cool part is, we're going to let everybody else come up with and recite poems too. Sayori's putting it on all the posters in case anyone wants to prepare ahead of time. Heh. Sayori, who's been coloring a poster, holds it up for us to see. Are you kidding me, Monica? You didn't already start putting these posters up, did you? Well, I did. You really think it's that bad of an idea? Well, no, it's not a bad idea, but I didn't sign up for this, you know? There's no way I'm going to be performing in front of a group of people like that. I agree with Natsuki. I could never in my life do something like that. Imagining it, Yuri shakes her head in fear. Guys, no, Sayori. I understand where they're coming from. Remember that Natsuki and Yuri have never shared their poem with anyone until just a couple days ago. It's it's a lot to ask for them to recite their poems out loud to a whole room of people. I guess I kind of overlooked that, so I'm sorry. But I still think we should give it our best. We're the only ones responsible for the fate of this club. If we start the event and put on a good performance, then it will inspire others to do the same. She almost poked her in the eye. Oh my god. The more people who perform, the better we'll be able to show everybody what literature is about. Yeah, it's about expressing your feelings, being intimate with yourself, finding new horizons, and having fun. That's right. And it's those reasons that we're all in this club today. Don't you want to share that with others? To inspire them to find the same feelings that brought you here in the first place? I know you do. I know we all do. And if all it takes is standing in front of a room for 2 minutes and reciting a poem, then I know you can do it. Natsuki and Yuri remain silent. Sayori looks worried. I guess that leaves me no choice. I agree. I don't think it's too much to ask. I think that Sayori and Monica have been trying really hard to get new members. The least we can do is try and help them out a bit. Well, maybe, but it looks like Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just have to get it over with. Alright, phew. Thanks, Natsuki. What about you, Yuri? Yuri dejectedly glances around at everybody else's expectant faces. I guess I don't really have a choice. That's everyone. You're the best, Yuri. This club is seriously going to be the death of me. Oh gosh, you'll be fine, Yuri. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. I want each of you to choose a poem of yours. We're going to practice reciting them in front of each other. No way! Monica, this is too sudden. Well, if you can't recite your poems in front of the club, how do you expect to do it in front of strangers? Oh no. Don't worry. I'll start off to help everyone feel a little more comfortable. Can I go next? Of course. Now let's see. Monica flips through her notebook to a specific poem she has in mind for herself. Then she stands at the podium. The title of this poem is The Way They Fly. Ahem. Monica begins reciting her poem. Her clear, confident voice fills the room. More than that, her inflection is pristine. She knows exactly how to apply emotion behind each line she recites, bringing the words to life. Is this something she's done before, or is she simply a natural? I glance around me. Everyone has their eyes on Monica. Sayori looks amazed. Yuri has an intense expression on her face that I don't understand. And finally, Monica finishes the recitation. The four of us applaud. Monica takes a breath and smiles. That was so good, Monica. Thank you very much. I was just hoping to set a good example. Are you ready to go next, Sayori? I'll go next. Yuri's all fired up all of a sudden. Yuri clutches a sheet of paper between her hands and stands up. Keeping her head down, she walks quietly over to the podium. This poem is called... Yuri anxiously glances at each of us. You can do it, Yuri. It's called After Image of a Crimson Eye. Yuri's voice shakes as she starts reading the poem. Just a moment ago, she practically refused to do this. Why is she suddenly putting in so much effort? As Yuri gets past the first couple of lines, her voice changes. It's almost like what happens when Yuri gets absorbed into her books. Her quivering words transform into the sharp syllables of a fierce and confident woman. Hell yeah. The poem's full of twists and turns in its structure and that she enunciates with perfect timing. This must be a rare glimpse into the whirling fire Yuri keeps concealed inside her head. Suddenly she's finished. Everyone is stunned. Yuri snaps back into reality and glances around her as if she's bewildered even herself. It's up to me to save this situation. I'm the first to start applauding. Everyone joins me afterward and we give Yuri the recognition she deserves. It's not that we didn't want to applaud for her, but we were caught so off guard that we must have forgotten. As we applaud, Yuri holds the poem to her chest and rushes back to her seat. Yuri, that was really good. Thank you for sharing. Looks like Yuri's down for the count. Okay, I guess I'm next. Sayori hops out of her chair and cheerfully walks to the podium. This one's called My Meadow. Sorry, I giggled. Sayori, it's a lot harder than I thought. How did you guys do it so easily? Try not to think of it like you're reciting to other people. Imagine you're reciting it to yourself, like in front of a mirror or in your own head. It's your poem, so it'll come out the best that way. I see. Okay then. Sayori begins her poem. Somehow it feels like her soft voice was made as a perfect match. The poem isn't aimlessly cheery like Sayori is. It's serene and bittersweet. If I were to read this on paper, I probably wouldn't think much of it, but hearing it come from Sayori's voice almost gives it a new meaning. Maybe this is what Sayori meant when she said she likes my poems. It's like I get to reach more deeply into someone... Wait, it's like I get to reach more deeply into someone I thought I knew through and through. Sayori finishes and we applaud. I did it! Good job, Sayori. Even Demo liked it. I guess that's a good sign. What does that even mean? Came out nicely, Sayori. The atmosphere of the poem fits you really nicely. But it might be that other poems wouldn't work quite as well with that kind of delivery. I don't really understand. In other words, I've seen poems of yours where that sort of gentle delivery wouldn't work as well. They might need a little more force behind them depending on what you're reading. Oh, I know what you mean. Well, I've been practicing that kind of thing. It's just embarrassing to do in front of everyone. The next time I'm going to make you pick a poem that challenges you a little more. We don't have much time before the festival, you know? Okay. Who's next? Natsuki? Don't make me go before Demo. It's not like I can compare you guys anyway. Might as well let Demo lower everyone's standards a little before I have to go. Natsuki, it's fine. I might as well get it over with. But it's not like I have much of a selection of what to read. I'll just have to go with what I wrote for today. I stand up and step it in front of the podium. Everyone has their eyes on me, making it feel terribly awkward. And I'm going to make it awkward for you guys, because I am going to go and take a quick break for a second.